first piece of equipment we're going to go over today is a leg extension built by Vids. This is a great piece of machinery you can use to develop the lower part of the quadricep. I'm going to show you how to get into it. So you just come alongside, slide in. The base portion here, this goes right up the very top of the foot, right about where your ankle's at. Reason for that, you don't want pressure too up high on the shin. You of course don't want too much pressure down on the foot itself. You want it right above that ankle joint. So once in position, you select your weight. So when you select your weight on the weight stack, you can move from a lower weight and move up would be what I would recommend for you. There's a pin in here that you just pull out, put into your next hole, and that's how you secure your weight. You also have a dial up at the top that goes in increments of 5, so you can go from 0 or adjust all the way up to 15. And this gives you the amounts of weight you can use in between the whole stack here. I would recommend starting light and moving up, and then you just extend your leg up, give it a nice flex at the top, come back down, and repeat. This is a piece of equipment you use for another variation of a squat. The way this guy works is you have two pads that will be resting on your shoulders. You have a lever that moves forward and backward to take on or take off the load, and of course a plate you're going to be standing on. So for the motion, or the exercise, you come under the machine like this, okay? Nice bent legs. You stand up into the machine, push the lever back, which gets clear of the rest of the machine, and then you come into your squat, and then you stand up. Now, with this particular exercise, something you don't want to do is you don't want to try to come into the machine and bend over like this, get under it with your back bent, and then try to stand up by using your back. Especially if you have any kind of a load on here, that's going to put an excessive strain on the lower lumbar. Just plain something you don't want to do. So once again, make sure when you're coming under, bend your legs, and then just use your legs to stand straight up. This is our leg press. The way that this guy works is you have two handles here that lock or unlock to keep the load from coming down on you as you're going through the motion. So to get into it, just grab a hold of the handles here, come on down in. There's a variety of ways, of course, you can put your feet, but the standard is just straight. Grab your handles after you have your load placed onto the machine on the bars down here. Raise it up, unlock, and come into your set. Finish with your reps. The handles back, rest it down to where you feel it touch, and then come up. If you're taking this guy, and for whatever reason, you get down here and you don't feel it hit those levers and take the weight off, of course, definitely don't take your feet off, because there's nothing stopping this thing to go all the way down to where you're stuck down here with that big old load on you. You might be able to wiggle out, but it ain't going to be a whole lot of fun. So always make sure when you get down with your set, your locks are on, you're rested down, and then it's much more comfortable to grab these little handles and just come up out of the machine as opposed to wiggling out. And you're good to go. So this next piece of equipment is our hack squat. The way that this guy works is you just step onto the plate that I'm on here, get your shoulders underneath your pads. You have two brakes, one on either side. As you stand up, take the pressure off, pull your brakes in, sink down into the motion. Get your reps, lock it back up, and you'd be set. Now with this one, there's two spots that you can lock. First one, I'm on the highest right now. We'll say if you didn't get all the way to the top for some reason, or you're just a little bit shorter, you can come down and lock them on the lower setting. So 2 places, 1 motion. And that's it on this one. This is our Smith machine. The way this guy works is it has a couple of hooks on the rail here. When you go through the motion, after rotating the bar to release it, you come to the end of your motion, rotate the bar back, rest back down on one of the hooks. So for this particular piece of equipment, I'm going to give an example of a squat. A lot of people are wondering, do I face this direction for the squat? Or do I face this direction for the squat, for this piece of equipment? The way that this guy is oriented, you want to be facing the mirror. The reason for that is the way that the track goes. When you come up out of that motion, you want this track getting to where the weight is closer to it, not further away from it. So after you find the little rings on the bar here, I like to line my fingers up with them just to make sure I'm right in the center. Stand up. Roll the bar back, double check your feet, and then just come down into the squat. Come on back up, roll the bar again, grab it. And then you're all set. This is another one of our squat racks. The way that this guy works is we have some bars here on the bottom. We'll catch somebody in the bottom of a squat if they fail. Of course, it also has some hooks up here to re-rack the weight when you're finished with the motion. So the way that these guys work is to adjust the height, you would take the top hook, rotate it towards you, and pull it out. It's got a pin on the end of it here. It drops into the hole. Just place it into that hole for your desired height, and just rotate it back down. Now the bottom bar is very similar, except for this time you're going to lift the bar up, pull it out towards you, and it's free. Once again, it's got a pin on the bottom of it. Just insert it into the hole, rest the bar down. So once you're here, you grab your bar. If you're doing a squat, of course, you're going to be coming up to the top, getting in position, stepping out with your weight, just come down into motion. Once you're re-racked, you're ready for a nice little break, and then you're ready to go again. This piece of equipment is called our super leg press. So the way that this guy works is you come in by the side, have a seat, get in position. After you've selected your load, grab a hold of the handles, press up. Now, there are a couple of different adjustments on this particular machine. It can get a little bit confusing, so I'm going to run through those with you. The first adjustment has to do with how far forward or how far back the seat will tilt. So you have a lever down here, pull out to lay it down flat or close to flat. And of course, you can pull it out again, bring yourself back up. Now, the other position adjustment has to do with the foot plate. You have a lever down here that you grab a hold of. And this is the one that usually confuses people quite a bit, because they expect the seat to move. The seat won't move when you grab this lever. It's the foot plate that's going to move. So, once you have a seat in it, once again, you just grab the lever. To unlock it, you press it away from yourself, and you just push the plate away from you with your feet, or you can grab the handle and pull it towards you. Once you have it in the desired position, take that handle on your right, and you let it kind of click into place here, and then you're ready to go. So you'll kind of hear it drop in like that. Then you just press up, come on down, press up, come on down. Once again, if you want a deeper squat, You just grab that handle, unlock it by pressing the lever away from you, pull the plate up, put it back, you'll hear it click into place there, and then once again, right back into your presses. Okay? You also can put your feet up a little bit higher. We've got kind of two positions here for you, and you can press from a higher position as well. Okay? For anybody that has any kind of issues with the knee, I wouldn't necessarily recommend a bent position like this. You'd be a little bit better off heading toward more of a 90-degree position.